Hey, welcome back to the channel, Indiana Third Jill. I'm Jill Miller. Today we are looking at a book called The Last Call, written by a South African author, Zandile KaMbokazi Zulu.
It's Zandile.
Zandile?
KaMbokazi.
KaMbokazi Zulu. Okay. Stop! I got it! I wanted to make sure I pronounced her name right, so I asked her to send me a video clip of her telling me how to pronounce her name. Zandile KaMbokazi Zulu. Yes, from South Africa. She wrote The Last Call, and a little information about me. I was born on a holiday, but I was born on the wrong holiday. I was actually born on Halloween, and I don't really like scary movies and books so much. I prefer rom-coms. If I was going to be born on a holiday, I should have been born on Valentine's Day, but my mom, who told me that I was actually born a month early, doing the math, I was actually probably conceived on February 14th, which my parents getting intimate on Valentine's Day is not something I want to focus too much mental energy on, so we're just going to go on with the book review. Like I said, I don't really like scary movies or books. That's not to say that I won't read them or watch them. There are some... I feel like scary or horror has its own, like, subgenres. Because, like, I enjoyed watching The Last Stand from... Sorry, my niece is behind the camera and she's trying to not sneeze. You good? Okay, she's giving me a thumbs up. No, like, I enjoyed watching The Last Stand from Stephen King's book, The Last Stand. I enjoyed watching both watching and reading Stephen King's It. I do not like the Final Destinations. Those aren't so much scary as they are gory, you know. And the Scream movies were all this is what happens when I film with my niece. I love it. The Scream movies were very cheesy, I felt. Like, I didn't really enjoy them at all. But, like, I enjoyed some of the scary movies. That, like, there's a certain... As long as it has a proper storyline, I guess. I don't mind scary movies, but it's not something I go after. Usually if it's the horror movies that have been coming out lately have mostly been focusing on jump scares and not really focusing on the storyline itself. And they just seem scary for the sake of being scary with no real point to them. And I liked The Last Call because it's scary, but it's scary with a purpose. At first, it doesn't make any sense. You're just sitting there. Thando, the main character, gets a call at 2:37 in the morning, and it starts off in first person. And around chapter 5 or something, what was it? I thought I knew fear. That's chapter 7. Chapter 8. Chapter 8, so it's in first person all the way up to chapter 7, and then it switches to third person in chapter 8, and it works surprisingly well. she answers a call at 2:37 in the morning, and immediately my first thought, Thando thinks to herself, it's 2:37 in the morning. My phone is ringing at 2:37 in the morning, and she's debating on whether to answer it or let it just go to voicemail. And my first thought was, according to How I Met Your Mother, nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Just let it go to voicemail. But then she asks the question, who could be calling? What kind of person is calling me at 2:37 in the morning? And I'm sitting there thinking, judging by the country western songs, probably a drunk ex. I don't know why drunk exes call at 2:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning in the country music world, but if somebody wants to explain that, you can tell me in the comments, because I'm sorry, if you're calling somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning to try and get back together with them, maybe reevaluate your life choices. But this is not a drunk ex. This is basically a night terror that has reached out to her, and she's hearing like slithering and rustling, and there's never really a consistent description of the shadows and the shadow figures that are talking to her. Sometimes it's one entity, sometimes it's multiple entities talking in a chorus, and they're kind of dragging, they keep trying to drag at her, and she's getting out of bed to investigate, and then they are, like, she goes downstairs, does a smart thing, it's like, somebody's in my house, and I'm going to go find out who it is, and she's investigating, but there's nothing but shadows, and that in and of itself is scary, because every time she thinks like she feels something close to her, she turns around and there's nothing there. So there's no jump scares in the story. So I love that the story isn't relying heavily on jump scares. It's just this basically mind trick that these shadows are playing. And then, like, how do you... anytime she's swinging the bat, or anytime she has a weapon on her that she can swing at something, like, they have physical holds on her, and only once is she able to actually physically fight back. And but most of it they're shadows, they're like smoke. And so how do you fight against something you can't, that can tangibly grab you but you can't grab back? And that's that in and of itself makes the antagonist scary enough, because, like, there's times when it feels like it has a solid form, it makes noises, it's interacting with things, it's moving things, it's grabbing her, but anytime she goes to retaliate, it's just shadow and smoke, and so she can't get a firm hold on it to try and defeat it. And it keeps talking about her past, and I don't want to give too much away, because but her past does, you're never told what the past is. It's never specifically said, this is what happened, and this is what she's running, this is the past she's running from. But there is a small, like, 3-sentence set that, there's a paragraph with 2 or 3 very short sentences where she is seeing flashes of something, and when she's talking about the visions, the images that are coming to her mind, it's I saw an image of this, and I saw an image of this, and I saw an image of this, and in that moment, just those 3 images, you can put together what the past is without her ever telling you what the past is, and you start to understand that this is not something that she is physically fighting on the outside. Nobody can see this battle that she's raging, that she's fighting. This is all inside of her, and it's not just in her mind, it's like all-consuming in her. And the story is a great allegory for the battles somebody deals with when they're dealing with guilt, with trauma, especially survivor's guilt. So yeah, I liked the story because there was not a reliance on jump scares. There was it was not scary for the sake of being scary. Like, there was a purpose. Like, everything fit together to tell a really good story. And when I finished the story, I reached out to Zandile. I said that right? Yes?
It's Zandile.
Zandile. I reached out to Zandile and I said, hey, this is the inference I got from this book. Did I understand this correctly? And she says, yes, that's exactly what it was. And so I think she did a really good job of encapsulating that guilt and survivor's guilt of the different things that she went through. And she painted the picture perfectly in basically 3 fragmented sentences that told you the entire story. And it was very well done. There's so many times when a storyteller has to give you this whole word picture that is like 5 pages long to explain the entire setup of a story or the plot or what's happening and why it's happening, and she does that with 3 simple sentences, which is really awesome. So I will link this book in the description below. I will also link, if you want to see any of my books, which are not terribly scary. They're like they're like kid horror. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this book to anyone who likes a really good horror movie or a horror story that's not going to give you nightmares, but helps you, especially if you're dealing with someone who is dealing with a traumatic past or can't let go of guilt for whatever reason. I think this would be a good insight of what they're dealing with in their own minds. Currently, I am, to give you guys an idea of how I have been reading these, because I read the thicker books. Like, right now I'm reading Tidebound. But in between reading Tidebound, when I'm like sitting in between reading the bigger books, the thicker books like the Rise of the Dragon Witch or Tidebound, when I'm sitting in waiting for meetings to start, or sitting in like the doctor's office or whatever, then I'll also read these smaller, shorter books, and that's why I am reading that's why it looks like sometimes that I'm reading the books quickly. I promise you, I'm not getting through these thick books quickly. I'm just reading smaller books while I'm also reading these, in order to get as many books read and reviewed properly, because I want to do them all justice. I don't want to just phone any of this in. These self-published writers and indie writers deserve, if you're going to give them the support, if you're going to give them highlights, they deserve to be taken seriously as any traditional published author. So, Last Call by Zandile, KaMbokazi, Zulu. Definitely read this. She does have a romance. Hang on. I need to get to, where is my... She has, oh, okay, hang on. She's got some other books out too. She's working on, I think the last thread that she was talking about, she is writing a romance. novel. So she doesn't stick to one genre. So she's got books for just about everybody. Should have been better prepared for this. Lies. It says she has no threads yet. She has threads. What are you talking about? She posts all the time. Because she's amazing. There it is. Okay. Her first romantasy novel, A Kingdom of Blood and Vows, is coming May 31st. Ooh, that looks good too. She also has other books. The Last Call is Beautiful Mess. Okay, this is another one that's an upcoming novel called Beautiful Mess. Single Married Mom. Love After the Fall. Blood and Power. How My Marriage Broke Me. Single Married Mom. My Husband's True Love, Angela. The Last Call. She just look up her I'm sorry, I'm just kind of falling down a rabbit hole of all of her books. A lot of these look really good. Go check out her books. They're amazing. The covers look amazing. And like I said, they span different genres. So they're not just, some of them are scary, some of them are romance. But yeah, the covers are beautiful. They're very well made. She's the artist of this one did the cover design. The cover design was done by, not gonna try and say that. I'm guessing a company in South Africa. I forgot to ask her to tell me how to pronounce that. But they did a good job. Like I said, the cover is, I like the cover of this one. It really epitomizes, it really captures what the story is about. And the other books look just as good. I'll probably go check some of those out myself. So, yeah. If you have any self-published or indie author books that you would like me to review that you don't see in these stacks here, you are more than welcome to comment below. If you have links, that's super helpful so that I can find them. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and if you have read this book and you haven't done so yet, go leave a review on all the places, Goodreads, Amazon, and all of that, and we'll see you next time.